Dub Nation. After the final buzzer. This is where you come for instant post-game reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is Dub's OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Powell, just like Kalana said, Peyton picked his pocket. You need a three. They kick out to Waters. Draymond back to Steph. Fading three. Off iron. Rebound battle out of bounds. Saved by Draymond. Wiggins has it. Still alive. 4 seconds left. GP2. Off back iron. Unreal ending. Multiple chances at a three. And it wouldn't go down, and the Clippers hold on.
Indeed, the Clippers do hold on. They beat the Warriors 102-99, the final in the first matchup between the Warriors and the Clippers at Intuit Dome in Inglewood. We welcome you in to Dubs OT with JD, John Dickinson here on KNBR, the sports leader. 808 KNBR is the number, 415-808-5627 to jump in and join the conversation. You can give me a call or shoot me a text here as the Warriors lose for just the third time in 13 games, but for the second time in 2 meetings head-to-head against the Clippers. Go back to the home opener in game number 3 of this season for the Warriors, and they lost to the Clippers at Chase Center on October the 27th, and then the one game against the Cleveland Cavaliers on that road trip where the Warriors still went 4-1. And tonight now, the only 3 losses in the first 13 games of this season for the Warriors. And, of course, nobody to this point still has beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers, who sit at 15-0 overall. So 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. John Dickinson with you. We got Greg Silver. We got Cole LaPelt back in our San Francisco studios, rocking and rolling for this one. And, yeah, wild finish in the Warriors' first trip to Intuit Dome. Bad first half from the starters in this game. Too many turnovers for the Warriors, 19, and missed free throws, 9 for 19 for the Warriors, 10 of them, and they weren't all going in the direction of the wall at Intuit Dome in Inglewood, where the fans are standing and they're holding up signs and they're really trying to distract the shooter with the seats staggered at a unique angle. Think high school rooting section. Think college cheering section. It's that kind of a vibe for the Clippers at Intuit Dome in the basket that the Warriors were shooting at in the first half. So let's react to this one. 808 KNBR, the number again here. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and Twitch as well as folks start to file in to the YouTube chat. Erwin Kwong chiming in early here. Turnovers and free throws will be the consistent bane of the Warriors this season. Turnovers a problem in both of these matchups with the Warriors and the Clippers in the 2 losses. And yeah, clickbait, 9-19 free throws. That has been an issue throughout the course of the early part of the year. And tonight you could make the case that it cost the Warriors a game. When you look at Andrew Wiggins missing a couple, Draymond missed one, Jonathan Kuminga 1 for 4, and Brandon Podziemski, who hadn't shot a lot of free throws in the early part of the year. I think he was 8 for 12 overall, but hadn't missed since he got the face mask off, and 1 of 3 tonight at the free throw line for Podziemski. That out of character. Those are your 10 missed free throws. And yeah, if the Warriors are even a mediocre 13 of 19, they may have stolen this game in Inglewood against the Clippers. So some thoughts on this one. We'll get to a question of the night as well. Warriors got down 25-13 late in the first quarter after trailing 20-10 midway through quarter number 1. The Warriors, by the end of the frame, though, had knocked that 12-point deficit down to 5, but it really was the starters that struggled for the Warriors in the first half and got outplayed up until the final minutes of the first half. Steph Curry and Draymond Green were a minus 20 toward the end of the first half. Andrew Wiggins was a minus 16. Lindy Waters, who got the start at the 2, was a minus 14, and Trace Jackson-Davis a minus 13. That all in the first half for the Warriors, who found themselves only down 5 going to the second quarter, but then the Clippers push it back up to 37-27. Then the Warriors cut back into it again with the bench. The bench initially flipped the thing in a positive direction back into the first quarter, beginning of that second quarter, but the Clippers push it back up. But when the game was handed back to the starters, 39-34 Clippers with the lead, but the Clippers again took it out on the Warriors 5 that began the game in this one, extending the lead to 50-36. And at that point, as I mentioned a couple of times here, the Warriors starters were just flat out getting their asses kicked in this game. The Warriors did close 6-2 run to make it a 56-45 advantage at the break, but the Clippers were making threes. Warriors at that point had 34 turnovers in 6 quarters against the Clippers, and it ends up with 40 turnovers for the Warriors now in the 2 games head-to-head against the Clippers, 21 back on October the 27th, and then you look at the 13 in the first half for the Warriors, a little bit better in the second half, only 6, but you look up at the end of the night, and the Warriors allow 31 points off of the 19 turnovers. Now, the Clippers did turn it over as well, and it wound up being even in terms of the points, basically with the Clippers holding a 1-point advantage in the points off turnovers. But the Clippers bench also did the thing. Amir Coffey with some big buckets. But I think really the story of this one in many ways, starters bad in the first half, too many turnovers, bad defense too. The Warriors stars looked a step slow, I thought, in this game, coming off of not playing since Friday night. They did have a practice in the Bay Area on Sunday. They did have a shoot-around at Intuit Dome in Inglewood on Monday morning here, the day of the game down in Southern California. And then into the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, you can make the case that the Buddy Hield foul at the end of the third quarter, when it looked like the Warriors had really started to clamp down defensively in the third quarter, much different story for the starters in that frame to get it to what we thought was 72 all at the beginning of the fourth quarter. But Buddy Hield fouled Amir Coffey there into the third. Coffey hits all 3 free throws. All of a sudden the Warriors are down by 3. And you look up at the end of the night, and it's 102-99. So just not a smart game for the Warriors, not an efficient game for the Warriors, and it all adds up to their third loss of the season by that final of 102-99. Warriors back home Wednesday against the Hawks, and then they're going to hit the road for a couple as they will be heading to New Orleans and San Antonio to close out what will absolutely be a busy week. So 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Let's get to our tip-off caller of the night, which is going to be Fozzie in the East Bay here on the Sports Leader. What's going on tonight, Fozzie?
Going on, man. Good game, man. Greg, good to see you, man. You did a good job today, man. Proud of you. But to me, where this game was won and lost, that was at the perimeter defense for the Warriors. We know that Kevon Looney was out, and I feel like they were overcompensating with Big Zubac being down there, so they were making sure to clog up the paint, and those kickouts were killing us. Whoever those shooters were, man, it seemed like they couldn't miss. And then, of course, the turnovers and the free throws. I think that's the turnovers especially. I think that's a lingering problem dating back to last year. But I think the free throws is something that they definitely can fix. But, yeah, man, they still had all of that going on. They had a chance to win it. That last possession, man, I really felt like one of those shots was going to go in, and the ball didn't roll their way. So, back to the drawing board. But overall, I think it was a good game. Cheers, boys.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, Fozzie. And yeah, great job by Greg Silver earlier today as well. Hat tip to him from Southern California. But yeah, just for whatever reason, the Clippers are a good defensive team. At times, their offense can bog down, and they certainly are James Harden dependent, and they like to try to get Zubats involved and on the offensive glass and to be able to score in the paint that way. But a lot of the high pick and roll with Harden looking to do what Harden does and kick out to 3-point shooters. And look, the Clippers end up in this one knocking down 16 threes, but by the end of the night, the Warriors had also knocked down 16 threes more efficiently for the Clippers. And wow, I mean, is there ever not a game where Norm Powell just destroys the Warriors with big shots? And he had bucket after bucket. It was really Powell and Amir Coffey in the second half that had the bulk of the key offensive buckets when the Clippers had to have them to help stave off the Warriors in this game that they ultimately win. But yeah, the free throw thing, I'm not so sure. I think it's player dependent as to whether or not it's correctable or not. It's been a problem all throughout the course of this season to this point in the first 13 games. And I think you have to look individually at which players are the guys missing them and can it be a little bit better in terms of the overall percentage. Podziemski for sure. I mean, Podziemski's 9 for 15 on the season from the free throw line. So, I mean, you got to be better than that. I mean, that's what, 60%. You got to be better than that if you're Brandon Podziemski. He's one, though, I think should be in the 80s by the time that the season is over. Andrew Wiggins is typically a good year for him would be 75% or so. He's had years in his career where he's been in the upper to mid 60s, which is bad. He's also had years where he's pushed 80. So I think you can take 6 of 8. I think you'd rather have it be 7 of 8 for a guy like Wiggins. Draymond is going to be hit or miss. Trace Jackson Davis missed a couple going up against that first half wall, and the fans all lined up with the signs at Intuit Dome in the first half. But you look at everybody else. Kuminga's the one that I think is somewhat perplexing in the sense that, I mean, Kuminga, 34 for 56, actually 35 for 58 now on the season after shooting 75% a year ago. So he's in the low 60s to begin this year and just does not look comfortable at the line. So that's one that you'd live with the 74-75, much like I think you'd live with it from Andrew Wiggins if he can get into the mid-70s. But yeah, 60 is not going to cut it for Kuminga. And part of the reason 60 didn't cut it for Kuminga is the simple fact that Kuminga is going to be a guy who's going to get to the line a lot. So for as much as he gets there, he's got to be able to knock him down. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Drew Down in Tracy next up here on the Sports Leader.
What's up, JD? Yeah, shout out to Fozzie, but I got to disagree. That was not a great game. And real quick for me, man, dribble penetration and this team over-helping and rotating and just leaving wide open 3-point shooters, man, to me is just incredibly frustrating. I mean, some of that is, like I said, dribble penetration, but it just seems like this team was leaving shooters wide open in the corner, top of the key. And that was just, for me, just incredibly frustrating to see happen over and over and over. And I thought 2 big sequences for this game were the sequence and the first half. Warriors were down 9 with the ball. Turnover, I think it might have been a illegal screen, something. Turn it over. Clippers get the ball. Kuminga lets, I'm not sure if it was Coffey, whoever it was, just blow right by him for a 2. And instead of having a chance to be down 7 or 6 at the half, they end up being down 11. And then the end of the third quarter, like you mentioned, tie ball game, Buddy Hield fouls a shooter that is a tough shot and probably not going to make it. Contest the shot, but to foul him there and let him get 3 free throws for the Clippers to go up 3, I thought those were 2 big sequences that definitely contributed to the loss tonight. And like everyone's been harping on, man, the missed free throws, 9 of 19, leaving 10 points at the line. JK 1 of 4, Pause 1 of 3, TJD 0 of 2. I mean, we're dead last in the league in free throw shooting. And I don't know. I mean, I expected to get a little better, but that's just not going to win you games, especially close games down the stretch. They got to be able to make their free throws, man. The turnovers start the game were just completely frustrating to watch. Dre with 6 turnovers, a lot of them just completely forced passes that were unnecessary. I know he can thread the needle at times, but sometimes it's like they're just low percentage passes, man. Like, take your time. We don't need to always make that home run play. You know, like you said, 31 points off turnovers for the Clippers. The Warriors did force 20 for 30 points on their own, but at the same time, man, I felt like a lot of the Warriors turnovers were just completely unnecessary, lazy passes that can be avoided. So another thing I saw, it's only 28 bench points for the Warriors. I think they've been averaging 58, something like that. So 28 bench points for the Warriors was very uncharacteristic for tonight. And that final shot was tough, man. I know Steph, I think he was looking for Waters over there on top of the key. Yeah. I don't blame GP. I don't blame GP2 for getting that. It was a scramble situation, so I don't blame GP2, but definitely not the guy you want, taking a shot with the game on the line. So just a really ugly game. They fought back and they had a chance to get it to OT, but yeah, it is what it is. They just seem to struggle with the Clippers for whatever reason. That's 2 games, and also last year, a lot of games where they just struggled against this team for whatever reason. Shout out Ty Lue's a great coach. But just got to, get back to the drawing board. They got the Hawks on Wednesday. Let's move on and clean some things up, and let's get back in the win column. Thanks, JD.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Drew Down. I think, and I agree with you, first and foremost, I don't think this was a really well-played game at all by the Warriors. I thought the Clippers played pretty well, but not a great game. I think it was a wild finish. But certainly not a great game. And, yeah, that scramble at the end with the Warriors getting a shot, then saving the ball from going out of bounds, and then working to get another shot against some pretty good Clippers defense, unable to do it or unable to do it up until Curry was looking for Waters. And I'm with you 100%. That ball was going to Waters, and I was having flashbacks to being in Hawaii when Lindy Waters III beat the Clippers in the first preseason game back on October the 5th. Now, this wouldn't have beaten the Clippers, but it would have forced the game into overtime against the Clippers as well. But, yeah, the ball went right into Gary Payton II's path, and he grabbed it, and he fired it. And it was a good look for Payton. I think you'd probably rather have a guy who shoots it like Lindy Waters III be the one who takes that shot in that situation. But in a scramble, you can't blame GP2 for taking what was a pretty open look, even though it came up a miss. Yeah, the dribble penetration has been a little bit more of an issue at times here in the last couple of games. And they just looked a step slow to me. In this one, from the jump, and as far as the bench points go, the bench played well in their first shift of the game after the starters just were dreadful the first half to maybe 2/3 of that first quarter, and the bench did get them back in the game a little bit toward the end of the quarter and even the beginning of the second quarter. But after that, yeah, the Clippers got enough from their bench, and the Warriors bench, uncharacteristic for what we've seen them do this year. Really, Buddy Hield, another story of the 2 head-to-head matchups. Clippers do a good job of focusing on key players that are a part of other teams' success, and Buddy Hield's been a major part of the Warriors' success when they've won a lot of these 10 games here to begin the season. And I think the Clippers were trying to make sure that they really tried to contest Buddy Hield out on the perimeter. And, you look at his night, he had a rough shooting game, the first one against the Clippers. He had a rough shooting game in this one. The Clippers typically are pretty good at being able to defend the 3-point line and just be scrappy and try to make you work for everything ultimately that you get. So 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. It is Dubs OT with JD here on The Sports Leader as the Warriors fall to 10-3, losing down in Inglewood, and their first loss in 10 days as the Warriors see their winning streak of OKC and Dallas and the Grizzlies come to an end since their last defeat back on the 8th against the Cavs in Cleveland. So let's go ahead and get to our question of the night. I also want to bring in Greg Silver in our San Francisco studios as well. And Greg, let me know if you're okay with that, if you want to hop on. And I also want to set up our question of the night, but I want to give you.
I just got to get some headphones.
Okay, no, all good. I wasn't sure the setup. I'm looking at you in there, and I do want to bring in. We got Cole Lapel, we got Overnight Dave, kind of hanging out. All the regulars in the house, but I do have the question of the night. But I am going to entrust you to come up with the multiple choice options that we use for it, and then I want to get your thoughts on it. We can just kind of go through it in real time. But yeah, the question of the night. Do we want to play the thing? Do we want to play the whole
Dub Nation? It's JD and Silver's question of the night.
Can I ask you a question?
Huh?
All right, so simple and to the point, and we've touched on maybe some of these things, but we'll decide which 2 or 3 we want to put up for the poll question. And welcome in, Greg. Good to be with you.
Hey, likewise. We just can't get enough of each other.
No, and by the way, we'll use this opportunity to cross promote the fact that the debut show of Papa and Silver today here on KNBR, 10 a.m. until 2. Wonderful job. I got a chance to catch a little bit of it as everybody reacting to the 49ers loss to the Seahawks yesterday. But Greg's got the day off tomorrow. So I'm going to be joining you for 4 hours here, 10 to 2 tomorrow on KNBR. And so, we can't get enough of each other. You're doing the show with Greg. You're in there tonight hanging out, and much appreciated. And we'll be right back at it tomorrow as I'll be in Southern California and you will be in San Francisco. But the question of the night for me, why have the Clippers been the Warriors' kryptonite so far this season? Or should I say Cliptonite? Cliptonite. Somebody threw that one at me. I don't know if that's out there. That's horrible, by the way. That is horrible. Horrible. I did want to mention it, but I'm not actually going to use it. But I wanted to test the Lindy Waters with that one. But no, why have the Clippers been the Warriors' kryptonite here with 2 of the 3 losses through the first 13 games of the season? That's going to be our Dubs OT question of the night. So feel free to jump in and join the conversation on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line at 415-808-5627. You can give Overnight Dave a call if you want to jump in and join the conversation with it. And we'll put that up on all of our KNBR socials here we'll put it on Twitter, and Greg may put it on his own threads actually. But now there's a new, we got, what is it? Blue Sky. What are we doing? Blue Sky? Yeah,
Blue Sky. But you know what? It's like I'm on Blue Sky, and if you're out there on Blue Sky, go give me the follow. I'll engage. But it's a lot, man. The platforms are stacking up.
I need some kind of deck where I can just put out information to all of them at once. And I get it. There's a lot going on in the world. I understand everybody's willingness to make decisions about changing platforms for particular reasons. That's fine. It's a lot. It's a lot right now. But on Twitter, the KNBR Twitter, we will jump in and set up our question of the night. So, Greg, I know you want to help type it out and all that, but if we had to line item 3 or 4 things, what do you think should be at the top of the list?
Well, this didn't exactly apply tonight, but Zubac is one of those big men who's not going to be named an all-star in his career, likely, but it just is a really solid, underrated big man that has killed the Warriors. And tonight, he didn't go off by any means, but he's been someone that has been known to kill them. So I'd kind of put him giving them trouble on that list, even though that wasn't the problem in this one. I also just think Ty Lue coaching up that defense. I know this is a team that is not all that impressive or flashy without Kawhi Leonard on the team, but they're kind of similar to the Warriors in the sense of they still got a guy in James Harden, and then they have a really strong group of capable role players. That second unit can be really good, and Norman Powell, man, it's not just tonight. He, on a lot of occasions, has killed the Warriors and has been carving teams up this season. So,
well, it goes back to the finals with Toronto in 2019. I mean, Norman Powell had a great series against the Warriors then, and has really done it ever since then. I mean, he has been a problem, And yeah, it was big bucket after big bucket.
Yeah, so that's another one that I would probably put on there. And I honestly have to think about some other options too. I mean, I just see a team that is. It's weird to think about the Warriors having a kryptonite early in the year just because we've seen so little basketball. But the discussion is there for sure now with losing to the same team 2 out of your 3 losses and the only other team being the team that nobody's beaten. I kind of just think that these are similarly constructed rosters. I think the Warriors have the best player on the court, and Steph is still greater than anyone on the Clippers, but it's still just a collection of a bunch of really solid, capable vets who just kind of know how to work together and play defense. And when the interior defense kind of has to collapse a little bit for the Warriors, they got guys out there on the perimeter that can burn you by hitting open threes. We mentioned Powell, but Batum, Amir Coffey, again, not all-star players, but guys that are very capable of just burning you if you're not on your game.
Yeah, 808 KNBR, the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line weighing in here from the 408. JD, I think the Clippers caused the Warriors many problems because of the way they space the floor offensively and their willingness to get dirty on defense, especially their on-ball defense is top-notch. Yeah, Ty Lue teams, are going to be well-coached teams defensively. And, we're talking about going back and looking at prior finals matchups involving the Warriors in that Toronto series with Norm Powell. The Cleveland Cavaliers teams that the Warriors saw in the finals had a tendency to be able to really muck up a game when they had a lot of their guys and really get physical with the Warriors. And look, the Warriors got the better end of the Cavs in those series. And I know Ty Lue only coached the final 3, but he had the ability to really, just make Steph Curry work, and they would always try to kind of ragdoll him, and then they'd try to get the ball out of his hands, and then just multiple different things. But yeah, Ty Lue's teams traditionally have a really strong, well-coached defensive identity, and yeah, not afraid to be physical, which I think is a big deal. And then, yeah, the spreading of the floor, which allows for the dribble penetration, which allows for the draw on kicks, which allows for James Harden to kind of do his thing at different points. And then they are an overall athletic team. I agree with you, Greg, in terms of the similarities as far as the way, hey, it's kind of, you've got an aging star right now. I know they have Kawhi Leonard who hasn't been there, but it's an aging star, and he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and everybody's going to filter off of him. And you have a bunch of guys who can shoot threes and defend, and you have some depth, which I think at times, the Warriors they just have players that bother the Warriors. I think top to bottom, point blank, end of story. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Again, our Dubs OT question of the night. Why have the Clippers been the Warriors' kryptonite? Veteran depth, on-ball defense, Zubats being an interior problem. He sure was in the game back on October the 27th, and self-inflicted errors. I'm going on-ball defense for my vote. Early leader, self-inflicted errors. And yeah, man, so many unforced turnovers, but there are turnovers that can go down as unforced that I think are closer to being forced than meets the eye, because when a team is constantly putting consistent defensive pressure on the ball and being physical, I think that leads to turnovers that are unforced technically, but not unforced because of the fact that the entire game is needing to be played at a much higher level for a longer period of time. So I think a defensive tone leads to unforced turnovers. So 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. Let's go ahead and pause here. We'll come back. We'll get to more phone calls. We'll get to the YouTube chat as well, as the Warriors lose tonight in Inglewood to the Clippers, 102-99. It's KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Back with more Blue and Gold. This is Dubs OT with John Dickinson on the Sports Leader. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Steph in the corner. Over Zubats! What a shot! Ty Lewis seen that before. Steph is happening, and he's going to take time. Come on now. I mean, that is a ridiculous shot.
All right, Warriors lose 102-99. Stephen Curry does hit 6 of 15 from 3 in this one. 26 points to lead the Warriors, but the Warriors end up under 100 in this one. Too many turnovers, poor start by the starting lineup, although they did work it back in the third quarter, outscoring the Clippers 27-19 and played well down the stretch to limit a lot of what was really bad at one point. At one point, as I mentioned, Steph and Draymond late in the first half were minus 20 together on the court in the first half. Draymond ended up minus 3. Steph ended up minus 5 for the game. So they ended up plus 15, plus 17 from really the end of the first half and until the end of the game. And Andrew Wiggins was up right in that bad area as well, nearing the 20 range, and ended up minus 5. So much better second half for the starters, but not enough from the Warriors bench overall. How do they fix the free throw problem? 9 of 19 in the game that they lose by 3, and just a lot of carelessness tonight, whether it was the turnovers, whether it was the slow-footed defensive play, not a lot of real good ball pressure for the Warriors in this game, and it all adds up to a 102-99 loss at Intuit Dome to the Clippers as L.A. gets the win to improve to 8-7. The Warriors now are 10-3, 6-2 away from Chase Center, where they will be back on the home floor Wednesday night against the Hawks. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Also resetting our question of the night before we get back into the YouTube chat, as we did it here to begin the show and end the last segment. And our Dubs OT question of the night tonight: why have the Clippers been the Warriors' kryptonite here in these first 13 games, with 2 of the 3 losses for the Warriors coming at the hands of the Clips? Veteran depth, on-ball defense, Zubats, and the interior problem, self-inflicted errors, early self-inflicted errors, overwhelmingly in the lead here, but we'll keep you posted throughout the course of the night. Basically a 60-20 breakdown between self-inflicted errors coming in a little under 60, Zubats and the interior problem coming in a little over 20, and then on-ball defense right at about 17, and the veteran depth. Nobody really thinking the veteran depth of the Clippers is a thing. All right, to the YouTube chat we go here tonight, and already hearing from Erwin Kwong and clickbait on the turnovers and the free throws. But San Jose Jazz fan 4, make a damn free throw, fire the free throw coach. Well, there is no free throw coach. There is no free throw coach specifically, but Kuminga and Podziemski are the 2 that have to get better. Kuminga's got to get back closer to the 75%, and Podziemski is at 60 right now, 9 of 15. Podziemski's got to be in the 80s. And again, I think I could even live with Kuminga being in the low 70s, but he can't be right around 60 himself, which is where things are. Rebel DeSounds, GP2 screwed up the last shot. Shake my head. Yeah, he intercepted the pass intended for Lindy Waters and then put it up. But it was a good look. And yeah, that pass was, I think, without question, intended for Lindy Waters. Paul checking in the YouTube chat. 6 Draymond Green turnovers. Ouch. When the Warriors turn it over, it typically is Steph and Draymond that are leading the way as the primary ball handlers. And I think that's one of the things that can be infuriating for the Warrior fan base, is that you have these 2 all-time great future Hall of Fame players, and they're the ones that could be so damn careless. But they are also the guys who make the bulk of the plays, as estimated eyes jokes, in line with fire the free throw coach, Fire the turnover coach. Estimated highs jumping in here as we got things going here tonight on Dubs OT. Appreciate seeing Regulator. Rebel DeSounds also adding the poor start to the game. Really had the Warriors playing from behind all game. And yeah, it just – and every time it got to a point where you thought the Warriors might be able to get it tied and or take control, there was a careless turnover or a dumb foul in the case of Buddy Hield there at the end of the third quarter, or a momentum-changing shot seemingly from Norm Powell, which I think is something that we've certainly seen. San Jose Jazz fan for Draymond, high-risk passes, and has some brain farts. There you go. But team turnovers were about the same. Yeah, the points conceded were about the same, and the free throws clearly the difference. Yeah, the 9 and 19 is just crushing. And no, Steph, as Regulator points out, did not shoot a free throw tonight, as he took a lot of shots from the perimeter in this one. When you look at the shot chart, 15 of his 21 shots were from 3-point range. So you're not going to get to the free throw line typically when you're doing that. But you look at Steph Curry's shot chart tonight, he had 3 buckets in the paint in 5 attempts and was 4 for 6 on his 2-point field goals as well. He had 3 right at the bucket and had a jumper that he hit from the right elbow as well in this one. But only 5 attempts in the paint and only 4 attempts at the rim. He made 3 of the 4. There was the one that he got blocked on in the fourth quarter. I know there was some discussion that maybe that could have been a foul, but yeah, Wiggins couldn't get it. The Clippers ended up with the ball there late. But yeah, Curry, after he had hit a layup to make it 102-97, got blocked there at the rim. That was one of the lone paint misses in that ball game for Stephen Curry tonight. So 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. The Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line is open as well. In the 408, Warriors still the top squad in the Western Conference. No cap. Yeah, grand scheme of things, not a huge deal. But again, this team, I think, had an opportunity, if they had played a little bit better in the beginning of the game, to win this game and keep some of that positive momentum going. All right, back to the phones we go. And Matthew joins us here on Dubs OT on the Sports Leader. Hey, Matthew.
Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you.
What's going on tonight?
So I'm just saying, man, I don't know. Shout out to Curry, and it was good to see Clay back, obviously. We love the Warriors, but I mean, I thinking like Kuminga has to come up, step up. It's cool. But I mean, at this late, are we going to get a draft pick? Are we going to get anybody to save the season? I mean, I'm just saying we're going to
save
win
the season. Save the season.
Save the season.
They're 10 and they're 10 and 3. Why do they? What needs to be saved at 10 and 3?
No, I know. But I'm just saying we need one piece. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The puzzle.
You need what do you think that that piece isn't going to be a draft pick. That piece is going to be
absolutely
it's either a number 2 scorer, it's either a bona fide all-star player, or it's a complementary player to the rest of the. And we're talking about 2 dramatically different things, right?
Yeah.
It's you can get a complementary player that you wouldn't have to give up a lot to get a bench player. I've said maybe a big that can shoot a little bit from the perimeter and also maybe bang a little bit on the inside. I think that would give some balance as to what the rest of the Warriors roster.
John. Yeah, what I'm thinking though is like a big man.
Okay. Okay.
That's all.
That's fair.
That's all.
That's fair. Now that makes okay. There you go. That's not a draft pick though, Matthew. You were talking about draft picks.
True.
Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate the call, man.
All right.
All right. Matthew checking in here tonight. There you go. They need a big man. I don't know if they necessarily need a big man, but they need a big man that maybe can shoot from the perimeter. I'm just looking at what this team doesn't have. And it really is those two things. It's number 2 bona fide all-star that you know who that guy's going to be. And I just, they like Trace Jackson Davis. They want to play Draymond Green at the 5 some. Kyle Anderson played some small ball 5 at different points tonight, and he was really freaking good defensively. He guards up well, and we saw it in the playoffs last year. He defended Nikola Jokic as well or better than anyone on that Timberwolves roster. So he is an excellent defender and has the ability to defend up in bigger players than you think he'd have the ability to. But yeah, again, somebody, the specific name I use, and I'm going to say it all, is Bobby Portis. Like somebody who could score a little bit inside, but can shoot the 3 ball, but isn't afraid to mix it up on the interior either, and be somebody who is, able to kind of make a physical presence known. But no, he's not a Zubats. It's not going to be a guy that's just clogging it. I don't think they want really that guy. They like playing Looney. Looney was unavailable, ill for tonight's game. We'll see what his status is for Wednesday. But the debate all year is going to be whether or not the Warriors look to go get the complementary piece or whether they go look to get the luxury piece. And I think that is going to be a night-to-night conversation that we're going to have on Dubs OT, I think without a doubt, because it really is twofold. It's what did the Warriors do tonight? Where are they overall in the landscape of the Western Conference and then the NBA at large? And then what do they do to get better? And what is ultimately the ceiling for this team? Because I still think we're trying to determine exactly what the ceiling is for this Golden State Warriors team. So 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. More from the chat and a lot of discussion about free throws. And so, yeah, you look at it and again, I don't know the answer to that one specifically because it's guys who in the early part of the season are not at their career track record to this point. And I think sometimes you have to allow for a season to play out a little bit. And when you allow for a season to play out a little bit, those numbers get back into normal range. But the Kuminga one is confounding, as we've discussed. And I think Pajemski's got to figure out how to be better than 60%. If Pajemski's not in the 80s shooting free throws, that's a major problem. And again, Kuminga has to make free throws because he's somebody who gets fouled so much and is able to get to the free throw line a heck of a lot. That I think is definitely a big part of the discussion. I am that I am. Newbie in the chat here. I'm happy with this type of loss. Still looked excellent defensively and nearly made up a 10-point difference in the last 3 minutes. Yeah, that game did have. I was talking to Austin Scott and our digital team, who's down in Southern California as well, and we were going back and forth about some of the games that the Warriors played over at Staples Center and Crypto.com Arena through the years when the Clippers were really good and the Warriors were either knocking them out of the playoffs or their main villain in the conference was Warriors were coming up and the Clippers were at different portions of their trajectory, whether it was the Lob City teams or some of those teams later before they got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And so I was telling Austin, I said, hey, this team, I've seen a lot come back late. Like they played this game a lot over the years at Staples and then come back and win it with a good last 4 to 6 minutes. And it kind of felt like tonight that the teams that the Warriors have had that have truly contended for and won championships, even the team a couple of years ago in 2022, those teams able to come back and steal those games. And for the Warriors to almost steal it, I think it does show you that maybe there is still that level that they can put their foot on the gas and have the ability to get to, but to come up just a little bit short. Clippers made a couple of key defensive plays, and the Warriors unable to hit the what would have been a backbreaking three, really, to force overtime if the Warriors had been able to get the job done there. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. People chiming in on the Steve Ballmer student section. Yeah, the wall. I got to tell you, from being over at Intuit tonight, the wall is cool. The wall is cool. You got all kinds of different signs. People are doing chants, and really, I mean, the building is beautiful. I think it's just a well put together. The Halo scoreboard, a la SoFi Stadium, which is just up the road here from where Intuit Dome is. They've got the Halo scoreboard, which is just tremendous and unique. Nothing like that in any NBA building. The seating layout is very cool. I mean, it's like a freaking amusement park outside. I mean, people can come and just hang out and eat, and I mean, you can play pickup outside of this place. There's pickup basketball courts out in the area where you wait and gather. Basically, their Thrive City, there's like pickup basketball courts where you can play some hoop before going in. So cool building, a little sterile in terms of the actual atmosphere, because I mean, there aren't a lot of Clipper fans. I think. Compared to, say, Laker fans or fans of other teams, even in big markets. But the student section, or the wall, as they call it here, with the steep incline. So everybody's standing in those sections, and you have to stand to be part of those sections. But it's fascinating. The rules I found entertaining. I dug up the rules. So how about this? And if you haven't heard it, it'll be interesting. If you had, then we'll repeat and not digress. But the wall rules at Intuit Dome: Clippers fans only. Clippers fans can choose to be part of the wall, but you cannot cheer for the opposing team or wear any gear that supports another NBA team. So if you show up in like a Sacramento Kings t-shirt or a New Orleans Pelicans t-shirt, even though the Warriors are playing the Clippers, and you can't sit there. And then they even go as far as, if your ticket is transferable. So let's say you own a season ticket. Let's say I own a season ticket at the Clippers and I want to let Overnight Dave take my tickets. Well, I am responsible for Overnight Dave. So Overnight Dave can't show up and say, hey, I want to wear my New York Knicks Walt Frazier throwback and root for, you got to root for the Clippers. So if you're the ticket holder, you have to make sure that the guests abide by the rules. And if you have a guest who doesn't abide by the rules of the wall, then you get your tickets revoked and can't sit in that section anymore. So kind of interesting. And yeah, the people are rowdy. I dug it. And let me tell you, I think it messed with the free throw shooting in the first half for the Warriors. Now, they were, 3 for 8, I think, in the first half. So that put them at, 6 for 11. So they were just as bad, if not worse, in the second half as they were in the first half. But there is something to be said for the signs and people standing in the chants. But I do think the chanting and the high school cheering section type vibe of it was really the only thing I will say that gave the building a lot of electricity in terms of intensity and love of the game. So other than that, there were a lot of Warrior fans down at Intuit Dome earlier, and the Clippers able to defeat the Warriors by that 102-99 final count. 808 KNBR, AJ Cruz 75, JD, Greg Silver. Yeah, we got Cole Lapelt, we got Ryan McCarthy, we got Overnight Dave. It is a boy-aquarium in our San Francisco studios here tonight. We got a lot of the fellas in the fishbowl there in San Francisco at KNBR. Let's go ahead and pause here. We'll come back. We're going to get to sounds of Silver. Yes, that's still a thing until further notice. and some fun with numbers here, more from the YouTube chat as well. But 808 KNBR, if you want to jump in late here on the phone lines or on the Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line, we'll continue the conversation as the Warriors fall to 10-3. Clippers win at 102.99. And more Dubs OT with JD here straight ahead on the Sports Leader. Save the season. Save the season. They're 10-3.
Something? Yeah, like a swoosh.
Yeah. Dubs OT presents the sounds of silver. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
All right, we're back cold here. It's Dubs OT with JD as the Clippers beat the Warriors. 102-99 is the final. Sounds of Silver is going to be Sounds of Ryan tonight. We'll just pass it around here. And we bring in Ryan McCarthy as the Warriors lose. What do we got tonight, Ryan?
All right, first up on Postgame tonight was Steve Kerr. Let's see. went into talking about the turnovers tonight. He did say how the shooting rhythm of the Warriors was off because of the turnovers, and how the turnovers really do make it hard to get back into a groove.
Well, I think anytime you turn it over and you're not getting good offensive possessions, it impacts the shots. Even if you get an open one, it doesn't feel like you're in a good rhythm as a group, as a team. With that said, made 16 of them. So it wasn't. I don't look at the shooting. I don't look at even the free throws. I look at the turnovers in the first half that set the tone for the game.
Yeah, turnovers definitely set the tone for the game. Again, I think just bad defense, slow-footed defense as well by the starters. Like the starters got the Warriors back in the game in the third quarter with the 27-19, and they gave them a chance to win the game late, but too many turnovers and I think it was just a bad tone set overall for the Warriors that had them playing uphill, as a few people had mentioned in the YouTube chat, and then unable to overcome it. What else do we have, Ryan, from Steve Kerr?
All right, he went into the free throws. Obviously, that was a problem tonight. He did say that free throws have really been a problem all year, and tonight was the night where it caught up with them. So far this season, they haven't really had to deal with it too much because they started 10-2. Maybe the wall helped with that a little bit. But this was Steve Kerr talking about how the guys really do need to work on free throws if they want to avoid results like this in the future.
Well, yeah, I think we entered the game dead last in free throws. We also entered the game 10-2, so they haven't hurt us until tonight. We've got to work on it. Obviously, we've got to, our guys have to get in the gym and find their rhythm, find their confidence from the line for sure.
Yeah, and it is something that teams can very easily spend a little bit of extra time on. If you have a practice that's going to be 90 minutes, you can make it an hour and 45 minutes. Typically guys are getting shots up after practice anyway. They'll go through some individual shooting routines, and part of that can be extra free throws. So it really is something that can be worked on. It has been a problem all year. I think it's a fair point that Steve Kerr brings up, the fact that even though it has been a problem, the Warriors still are sitting here at 10-3 and atop the Western Conference and a top 4 or 5 team in the NBA overall, and have been consistently through the first almost now month of the season. We're going to be right at the 4-week mark from when the season started, beginning tomorrow. But it's certainly something to monitor, because if you're going to play a lot of close games, you got to have guys that are able to make free throws. And I think, Kuminga, somebody who regularly is out there, wasn't tonight in the closing lineups. He's got to be able to make them. Pajemski, for sure, as I've mentioned a couple of different times. Wiggins, we've seen Wiggins be great at it. We've seen Wiggins struggle with it. But, yeah, they have to shoot free throws better than they have to this particular point. All right, so we've got a couple of Draymond Green cuts, I'm told. Correct, Ryan?
Yes. He went into postgame tonight talking about let me get the mic in here. Too many turnovers. Obviously, the Warriors, too many turnovers tonight. Too many points off turnovers for the Clippers really turned the game. Even though it ended up evening out in the end, it cost them the game. He said Draymond went into he turned the ball over, and it's really hard to recover when you can't keep the ball.
Yeah, it set a tone. We turned the ball over I think we had 12 or 13 turnovers in the first half, and they had at halftime like 23 points off those turnovers. And so you hold a team to 102 points, give up 31 points off turnovers. Defense was pretty good. But you can't defend those turnovers. And like I said, I was awful. So that's on me.
Yeah, accountability from Draymond in this one. And, yeah, you can't look at the stat sheet and have 6 and feel good about it. And, Draymond, again, is somebody like Steph who can have some of the forced turnovers, the ones that just really make you scratch your head and you wonder what's he doing. But it always comes back to the fact that the ability for the Warriors to allow for Steph Curry and Draymond Green to be the playmakers that they've been in the system that they've played for a decade now, sometimes it lends itself to being a little turnover prone. So there are going to be nights like this, but you just have to try to limit them. And on nights where maybe it's really bad, you limit them down the stretch in games. And the Warriors, I do think that's the one bright spot, is the 6 turnovers in the second half you can live with. 6 in the second half are doable. If you're getting 12 or 13 for a game, that's workable. But it was just far too many early and far too many in the first half, and it just set a sloppy tone. So one more cut from Draymond.
Yeah, he did touch on the missed free throws. Obviously, the NBA, this is a league where you need to be able to shoot if you want to win games, and bad shooting at any point from 2, from 3, from the free throw line can take you out of a game. So this was Draymond Green talking about the missed free throws, and it's definitely an issue the Warriors need to correct.
No, it's an issue. You gotta make free throws if you want to win at a high level in this league. Going 9 for 19. I think last game we probably missed, or within the last 2 games, I know we missed like 13 or 14 of them. So it is an issue that we got to correct.
All right, short and to the point and on point from Draymond Green. Yeah, has to be corrected. I'm kind of it's a problem because it's been a problem the whole year. I'm also a little bit optimistic that it can get better when you look at the guys who are missing them and having the potential to have the law of averages maybe play out to where it flattens somewhat. So big thanks to Ryan McCarthy. Sounds of Ryan. I guess we're going to have sounds of Ryan, sounds of Cole, sounds of Kyle, maybe even sounds Overnight Dave here coming up as we move forward on Dubs OT with JD. Clippers win at 102.99. We'll get some fun with numbers coming up here before we call it a night. We'll also look ahead at what's coming up this week as the Warriors are going to be home for the Hawks and then head to New Orleans and San Antonio. More, though, first from the YouTube chat here on the as we appreciate everybody who's joining us on the KNBR YouTube page. Andis Brown, ouch, Pods, building a lot of homes with his shooting. Yeah, Brandon Podziemski has been off. Not a byproduct of the mask necessarily, but the byproduct of the illness that he sustained on the road trip. Something has been a little bit off with Brandon Podziemski since then. So it's really going on a couple of weeks now. And I think that's also something to continue to monitor, just where he's at physically. Is he feeling good? I know even the first game of the year, he didn't shoot it well. Remember, he was in Portland. He's out midnight with the Warriors staying over, and the game ends at 9:30, and he's shooting free throws for 90 minutes to 2 hours. He's shooting all around free throws and all over for 90 minutes to 2 hours after the game at Moda Center in Portland. And so he always puts in the work, but it hasn't quite been the usual Brandon Podziemski positive net impact either for the Warriors. And you look up tonight, and by the end of the night, Brandon Podziemski still ended up on the plus side, +2, but 0 for 4. And there have just been too many Brandon Podziemski games this year where he hasn't really shot it well. You just start looking, 0 for 5 in the opener. He's got a 2 for 8 against the Clippers in the first matchup. The 0 for 4 in the game tonight is part of it. And then, he's got a 5 of 15 against the Pelicans. He's got an 0 for 2 in 15 minutes against Oklahoma City. And so, yeah, he's going to have to be better and be able to shoot it at a better clip than he has to this particular point in time in the season. More from the chat. Erwin Kwong, missed free throws should equal 20 push-ups each. Yeah, sometimes you'll run suicides if for missing free throws. That was always a fun one. You miss, you got to run a lap, and do it in a certain time, or you got to run again. That'll get you to make your free throw. Well, when you're in high school, it'll get you to make your free throws when you're in high school. Max Lopez, if Kuminga's game is driving to the hoop, bad free throw shooting makes him a liability. Yeah, if it truly becomes a thing where he's missing them, it seems like Kuminga has bad games and good games. It seems like Kuminga will every so often have one of those 1 and 4s or 1 for 4s, but he'll also have some games where he's 6 for 8 and 7 for 10, 9 for 12. Like, you can live with those if he's getting to the line at the rate that he's getting to. A couple of people asking what I thought of Intuit Dome. And yeah, we laid that out a little bit earlier. I liked it. I thought, again, Clippers fans are not necessarily known for being the loudest or the most boisterous. So the energy in the building, other than the student section, the wall section, maybe left a little bit to be desired. And I thought Warrior fans kind of took the joint over, but didn't have much to cheer about tonight. So yeah, I think that was factored in. But no, all in all, I really, really like the building. I like the layout of the building. I like the outside of the building. I like the sound in the building. I like the Halo scoreboard in the building. I think they did a really nice job. Steve Ballmer, there are some unique components to it, like the steep incline of the one end zone where the Warriors were shooting by the Warriors bench. The Warriors were shooting in the first half. Nice ball game tonight, and good building to be able to take it in. Andis Brown adding Clippers match up well with the Warriors. They switch a lot, have enough athletic wings and guards that can play that style of defense. Yeah, stylistically, it is a big thing. Regulator Clippers played yesterday too. That's right. They did play against the Jazz in Intuit Dome on Sunday night. Getting my days crossed here. I'm like, what day is this? There's been so much going on the last couple of days. Like, what day is this? This Sunday? Monday? It's the old Steve Kerr. If you ever ask Steve Kerr about days of the week, he gives you every day's Wednesday. Every day feels like Wednesday with all the travel and everything that's going on. Every day feels like a Wednesday. I seriously am the last guy that has to think what day of the week is it typically. I legitimately lost my train of thought there. But yeah, Sunday with the 49ers yesterday and Monday here tonight with the Warriors and the Clippers. Rebel to Sounds, yep, that Buddy Hield foul at the end of the third was dumb and an advantage for the Clippers. Clippers win the game by 3. Rockin' New Era, just checking in. Fozzie, I like it when chat members just cheer for other chat members. That's always fun. Doesn't always have to be a overarching premier breakdown or piece of analysis. Sometimes it can just be, hey, nice job. Nice job. Support each other. We like that in our YouTube chat. I am that I am. Losses like this one are good in the long run. Sends a message to Lacob. There is a trade to be made if they are winning multiple playoff rounds. Yeah, fair, natural way to get into the conversation about where tonight and the first 13 games leave the Warriors, rather. But I think it really is going to be interesting to see whether it becomes crystal clear, because we don't know the answer yet. We don't really know what the ceiling for this Warriors team is as they sit at 10-3 through the 13 games. We don't know what the ceiling is, but they're off to a hell of a start. And I think they're off to the type of start that makes you want to see how far this team can go through the course of the regular season with all the depth. So I think that's one portion of the equation, but it's also going to be fascinating to see if the Warriors do reach a point where everybody just kind of knows they don't have enough. We don't know what the ceiling is, but we also don't know clear cut. At least it's not obvious yet that a move has to be made, because it's twofold. And the reason I bring it up this way is because it has to be twofold. It's not, hey, the Warriors have to make a move to go get a number 2, bring somebody else in. It also has to become equally as clear cut the players who don't fit that you would look to include in that move and the players that you would have remaining on the roster who would fit with whoever the player is that you ultimately go and get and bring back into the equation. So, I understand the thinking. I am. Losses like this maybe can be good in the long run if it shows that the Warriors maybe have to get a little bit more urgency toward trying to make some kind of a move. Don't leave Powell open. Regulator. Yeah, don't leave Powell open. But sometimes Powell just gets it on his own and goes to work. But yeah, the Warriors did leave Powell open too much. 5 of 6 from 3 for Norman Powell. 23 points, 9 of 15 overall. I mean, he was just getting it done, as he often does against the Warriors. And, the Warriors did a nice job on James Harden. James Harden only shot 2 free throws in this game. 4 for 15, but he had 16 assists. 16 assists. And so that, tells you that he's still controlling the game. And as the Warriors are trying to take it out of his hands, he was able to get it to guys who were in good positions to be able to score the basketball. And I think Norm Powell was a key contributor along those lines to play a positive role in the victory and be the leading scorer for the Clippers. Estimated eyes, I think JK could have kicked it out to Lindy more often since they were reading his drives to the basket. That's a continued development point for Kuminga. When he puts his head down, he looks to score, and he really has to think about it when he wants to make a pass. Like, he'll put his head down, he's going to score, and I do think at times there are plays to be made if he just kind of stops and makes the easy pass and keeps the ball flowing. I think that's a fair and knowledgeable point, but I think where Kuminga is still at this stage of his career, it's easier said than done. And so I think that's where he's still got some development that needs to be ahead of him. Andis Brown, they should have let Harden shoot more. He can't blow by guys anymore. Let him take more tough shots instead of getting assists. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a catch-22 there. I agree with the point about not being able to get by guys, and the way the game is officiated now, they've taken away a little of the antics, a little of the chicanery. They've taken a little bit of that away, and so he can't quite get to the line, in part because he's not putting pressure on the defense quite the same ways, but some of the old James Harden tricks he's not necessarily getting away with either. But yeah, I think we've seen when the Warriors have had success against Harden, they make him take a lot of contested shots. He misses a lot of those shots, and it winds up leading to some transition opportunities on the other end, and teams getting frustrated and getting bogged down. Rebel to Sounds, Curry should be shooting as many free throws as Harden. Well, I guess tonight that would have been 2 then, because as I mentioned, he just had 2. Joe Schmo, Ballmer has money to burn. The YouTube chat, yeah, he definitely does. Without question. Looking through the rest of the chat, AJ Cruz getting his nightly shot at our buddy Drew down. Drew is our minutes leader, easy, in terms of callers and participation. I mean, somebody's got to be, right? Somebody's got to be. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627 as well if you want to jump in here in the final couple of minutes on Dubs OT with JD here on the Sports Leader as the Warriors lose to the Clippers 102-99. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap things up here from Southern California. Fun with numbers straight ahead, and then again, I look a little bit around the league and at what's coming up for the Warriors this week, as it is KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader. Rebel to Sounds, Curry should be shooting as many free throws as Harden. Well, I guess tonight that would have been 2 then.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
All right, back here final segment, and it'll be a quick one. It is Dubs OT with JD. Warriors fall to the Clippers, third loss of the season, now 10-3 overall, 6-2 on the road as we get to fun with numbers here. The 3-game winning streak ends as the Warriors play a game in Inglewood for the first time in a long time. You got to go back to 1999. The last time the Warriors played a game in Inglewood, the final year of the Forum in Inglewood, just up the road here from where Intuit Dome now sits and where SoFi Stadium now sits. There was a concert tonight at the Forum, which is still up and in existence in Southern California, and the Warriors 10-3 overall, as we mentioned. Clippers now a 2-0 season series lead over the Warriors. Beat them at Chase, beat them in Inglewood, and the Clippers have won 6 of the last 7 meetings head-to-head against the Warriors, including 5 straight. So, yeah, the last time the Warriors beat the Clippers, got to go back to November 30, 2023, which is the debut night of Dubs OT here on KNBR. That was the last time the Warriors beat the Clippers. They lost to them a couple of times in Southern California last year, and then lost right before the All-Star break at Chase, and then a couple of times here to begin this season. So 5 in a row, as the Warriors, last time they won a game against the Clippers in Southern California was almost 3 full years ago on November 28 of 2021. Warriors won on that night 105-90, and that was the team that went on to win the NBA championship. Warriors playing their 6th clutch game of the season. We like to keep track of the clutch games, and that is within 5 points with 5 or fewer minutes to go in the game. The Warriors, with the clutch loss tonight, are 4-2 in clutch games. So they are 4-2 in the 6. Both losses to the Clippers. The other close loss, obviously blown out against Cleveland on November the 8th, but the Warriors 4-0 against everybody not named the Clippers in clutch games so far this season. Also, the Warriors under 100 for the first time this season, as their prior season low in points scored was 104, which they did on 2 occasions. Tonight, 99, a new season low, the first time under triple digits since March 13 of last year when the Warriors scored 99 in Dallas against the Mavs. Stephen Curry, 26 points, game high 26. Norm Powell led the way for the Clippers with 23. Steph made 6 3-pointers. Second time this season he's made that many in a game. He made 7 at OKC in the game the Warriors won there. Andrew Wiggins, third 20-point game of the year for him, 22 points. And for the 5th straight game, Draymond Green made at least 2 3-pointers, which is a new career best in terms of the streak there. So 2 of 3 from 3, 9 points, 9 boards, 7 assists, as a few in the YouTube chat were chuckling about, maybe snickering over a triple single, but a high triple single for Draymond Green, 9, 9, and 7. Lindy Waters got the start at the 2, third start of the season. He had 3 steals, and the Warriors were without Kevon Looney, who missed his first game of the season due to illness or injury. He was out due to illness. DeAnthony Melton, second straight game, out with that ACL sprain that he sustained in the game against Dallas. All right, that is going to do it. Great stuff, and a lot of people to thank in our San Francisco studios here tonight. And we definitely want to thank Greg Silver. Excellent debut program with Papa and Silver, 10-2 here on The Sports Leader. And Greg's going to be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 2. And I'm going to be joining Greg tomorrow because Papa took the day off. So looking forward to working with good buddy Greg Silver tomorrow, 10-2. We'll be talking about this game and the 49ers and a bunch of other stuff. Thanks to Cole LaPelt. Excellent job. Thanks to Ryan McCarthy. Sounds of Ryan tonight. And thanks for Overnight Dave for hanging out and answering the phones and looking angry in the background and, keeping the vibes high. Everybody loves having Overnight Dave.
It's a vibe
around.
show.
Definitely a vibe show. And of course, everyone in the YouTube chat. Greg, did I forget anybody or leave anybody out that was cutting in the other room tonight? I don't like doing that.
No, you got everybody. And before we get out of here, just two things. One, Robert has been clamoring for the silver lining tonight. I'll go with a quickie. The obvious silver lining is that we are going to be doing our show tomorrow for 4 hours, you and me. So reunited, and it'll feel so good in the daytime. And then the other one is that a lot of the errors tonight were self-inflicted, and they lost by 3 to a solid team. So I don't think this is a panic game by any means. And then San Jose Jazz fan, if Greg announces this is his last Dubs OT, I'm going to tear up. No shot, brother. No shot.
It's not. It's not his last Dubs OT. It's not his last Dubs OT. And I don't think that's in the foreseeable at this point. Like, I don't think there is a target last Dubs OT. So, just Greg's going to be around. And we love to have him around as much as I always tell him, as much as he's willing to tolerate. As much as he could tolerate me, we're gonna have him around. Not Greg's last night tonight. We'll make sure we give everybody a lot of notice if and when it comes to that, as far as when Greg's final night on the program is. But no, Greg off to a wonderful start with Greg Papa, and looking forward to keeping that momentum going with Greg tomorrow, 10 until 2. Thank you to everybody in the YouTube chat. Big shout out as well to Austin Scott, who's down at Intuit Dome in Inglewood for our digital team and getting a lot of content out late tonight. It was kind of one of those weird nights in the Warrior locker room where Steve Kerr came out and then everybody was kind of in a holding pattern for like 20 minutes. What's going on? And then you go to the locker room and then Draymond Green, he's going to be at the podium. And then another 20 minutes goes by and everybody goes back to the locker room and nobody's really talking. And then it's Steph Curry's going to be at the podium. So it ended up being Draymond and Steph and Steve Kerr, but it was like with the 20-minute gap in between each of them, and ended up being like an hour until Austin could get back up and start cooking some fire digital content, as he and the fellas in the digital team often do. So thanks to everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow with Greg Silver, 10 till 2 here on KNBR, and back from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City immediately following the Warriors and the Hawks. Hawks got a 1-point win in Sacramento tonight. They will be ready to roll against the Warriors Wednesday. So looking forward to that as well. We'll talk to you then right here, KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.